Hi friends. It's been a minute since I've been able to let a lot of my dreams come out. I had some crazy dreams since November, and just till now is when I'm actually being able to like let them out. And it kind of feels like one of the dreams that I had earlier this year, where there was a lady who I was in front of a lady, and I was pulling plastic out of my mouth. It just kept coming out, a plastic bottle, and it felt like it was a witchcraft dream where it was like somebody was making me stop in my tracks and not be able to speak. So finally, today is December 27th, and I'm finally being able to release these dreams. And there's some pretty cool dreams. It's been kind of really important that I let these out. The reason why it's important, it's always important to like share dreams, especially when you know they're prophetic, that if you don't let them out for some reason, it hinders you. It stops you in your tracks. And God has been kind of, he's been really patient with me. And I just kind of want to just let y'all know that there is, uh, all of us go through different trials. We all have our own personal like warfare that we're going through, and we're not immune to it. It's just part of the game. That's all it is. So we're gonna have our highs, we're gonna have our lows, but we're just gonna keep on going. That's about it. And just remember, you're not alone. I was talking about this with my dad, and he's like, "Man, there's just not too many of us." I'm like, you kind of sound like Elijah. He thought he was the only one that was trying and doing their most, but God's like, no, man, there's 7,000 other prophets still out there. So just take heart that we're not alone. There's a big cloud of witnesses, like the scriptures say. It's just we got to keep working. We got to keep stay in the game and just keep fighting. Keep fighting the spiritual war. It's not fleshly. It's invisible. So if it takes a toll on you emotionally, if it takes a toll on you physically, it's probably spiritual, because we can't see it. We can't see the witchcraft. We can't see it. It's invisible. So we're in the spirit. When we're in the spirit, we can tell, man, this is not of me. This is something beyond my power. But we can do everything through Christ. And a couple of scriptures I just want to point out before I get started is John 14:15, where it says, "If you love me, you will obey my commandments." Especially with the seasons, we know that there's a lot of people that it's so common for people to shift their attention from God to an occasion, to a tradition. So you have to be very careful with that. If the first commandment is, you must love God with your whole heart, mind, and soul. And to love Him is to respect Him, and we don't want to like deviate our attention, our focus, even though everyone else has been doing it and will do their thing. We have to stay focused and just stick to the 10 commandments, because that's what He says. If you love me, you will obey me, my commandments. Another scripture too that I want to just share before I start is Revelation 18:4, where it says, "Get out of her, my people. Get out of Babylon." So if you kind of think about what was it? Was it Nebuchadnezzar? I think he was the one that was the first one to destroy Israel and capture them. And well, the Israelites had to move to Babylon, the literal city of Babylon, and they were slaves. They were captives. They had no control over their surroundings. Like, they were in a different environment, but they had to be different. You remember Daniel and the three Hebrews, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They had to be different. They had to stand out. So in today's society, like if you're like a Christian, if you're really trying to stand out, it's kind of like we're in Babylon right now. So what difference are you making that stands out as a representative of the Most High? So I'm going in this aspect because a lot of so-called Christians, will still get involved with Babylon. We're talking about, imagine, getting involved in the war tactics or the politics or uh, the surroundings, the people, the traditions, all the other teachings that they were following. So there was other gods that they had in Babylon, and they didn't worship God. They didn't worship the Almighty. So it's easy for us. I mean, like, we're in this world, right? But if we're in Babylon, figuratively speaking, like we're surrounded in a place with people who don't, like, let's just say, who worship Allah, who worship Buddha, who worship the Virgin Mary, who worship the Pope, stuff like that. So like they changed their focus from the Lord to a different God, a different person, and it's just so important for us to stay focused and just stay out of Babylon. And a lot of it too is it's spiritual, because Babylon is everywhere. It's in our phone, it's in our TV, it's in our workplace. Everything is evolved around making a living and surviving and being successful in this world. If you can even say successful, because it's super hard. But those are my two scriptures, and just hopefully it helps somebody. But I'd just like to start sharing some dreams. That my first dream was back in November 11th. It was more of a personal dream because it had to do with my being able to distinguish when people are being fake. There was a lady, November 11th, a dream where there was a car wreck, and her last name was Smart. She was being smart. So she got hit from behind, and the truck flipped and did a crazy, it was terrible for the truck behind her, and she just got pushed and she went into the ditch. And I pulled over, I saw it. I was with my wife, I think, and I was with my wife. And then I went to go see the lady who was in front, who nothing happened to her. She just went to the ditch, and she was acting as if she was like dead. Like, she wasn't responding. She was like out. And then the guy who flipped over, that guy was really messed up. But I knew in the dream that she was faking. The lady in front was faking. And that's it. It's like, there's going to be people who fake even being sick. So I don't know. That was just a dream. That was the first dream. And then March 18th, I had a dream that kind of has to do with what's going on today, where let me see. Oh, okay. So I was in Mexico. I was at the border, and there was shingles on the ground. I was a roofer before. Anyway, so there were shingles on the ground in front of this building, and I had a truck, my truck I have right now, and I was like, people were trying to get over walking through the sidewalk, but there was shingles there, and I was like, I'm gonna pick this up because this is dangerous. So I went for a tarp, and I was gonna put them all on the tarp, and I was gonna pull it because it was far away. So once I did that, the dream switched, and I was on a motorcycle, and I had all my luggage that I was bringing from America to Mexico, but it was kind of like hard to drive because it was balanced weird, and I was going really slow. It was like kind of wobbly until I couldn't. It was a stoplight, and as I tried to stop, I noticed my luggage fell, and then I looked across the street and I saw everything was stolen, like super quick. And then I saw the girl who had my passport and my other, I think it was birth certificate. And I said, and I went she gave it to her mother. And then I took it, I asked for it, but she didn't want to give it to me. So I was like, I started to beat her up violently. Like, I was like mad. So this dream, I knew what it represented too, because it has to do with what's going on with ICE. Because right now, currently, there's people are getting deported, right? So when it gets, like, when they go back home, they're gonna get robbed, and they're gonna get their stuff taken away from, because first of all, in Mexico, it's dangerous as it is. I had a friend get killed, like, just when he was visiting. He had his house out there went to the store and bam, gone. And I personally know two people that have been deported that it's actually clients of mine. And they, you know, it's just a bad situation. People think, well, I'm gonna sell my stuff, all my belongings here, and go to Mexico and live like a king. It's not gonna happen. It's gonna be very violent, and you're gonna get robbed. It's gonna be not what you expect. It kind of also to remind me, there was a post where it was talking about uh, Mexican Americans and stuff like that, where it's kind of frowned upon. Like in my case, where I'm born here, my parents are from Mexico, but when I go to Mexico, like they look at me differently because my Spanish isn't perfect Spanish, but it's kind of like you're not Mexican. And then here, I'm like considered American, but in Americans' eyes, I'm still looked at as Mexican. So it's just kind of weird that that post resonated with me, and I understand that there is a little difference in culture, but it is what it is. So, but that dream kind of emphasized what's going to happen on a bigger scale, and I've already seen it on a small scale. So, anyways, November 22nd, I had a dream. And if you remember back in 1996, there was a movie called Twister, the original Twister. I thought it was Dennis Quaid, but it's not. It was Bill Paxton. He was the one that was the actor, and he was the main guy. And in the dream, he was the main guy in my dream, and he was a hardcore like he was a go hard like believer. He was on fire for the Lord, and he had a hit on him. So the government was looking for him. So, and I'm with him. And he's going to his house, and he has this old beat up truck. And this is like, wow, I didn't know if this truck was going to make it, but it made it back home. And he went home, but then he went to his neighbor's house, and they went to go study the Bible. And I didn't go with them. I just was watching. And then as he went over there, the government came, and it was like in the dream, just a dream, right? The government came, like 15 cars, and surrounded him, trying to get inside the house. And I'm like, he's not there. And then I didn't tell him where they went, but the neighbors where he went to go do the Bible study were the ones that sold him out. They told him he's over here, and then he came out. But it was just kind of weird. That dream was telling me that you're gonna get sold out. It's gonna be like you're one of the people that you least expect, so don't be surprised. Jesus, remember Jesus that got sold out by Judas Iscariot, one of his close friends, and it just we just know it's coming. So that kind of also too reminds me where pretty much about a month ago, I went to Fort Worth, about an hour from where I'm at, and there was also too like a raid. I was at one gas station. This is no dream. This is real life. I was at a gas station on one side of the street, and on the other side, it was just ending, but they had also the same amount. It was like 15 vehicles. They had sheriff's trucks, police cars, police trucks, like pickups. They had a police trailer. And they were just talking over the intercom, and they was telling people to get back into their vehicles because that was a sting. And then on top of it, they had like other civilian cars, like four other civilian cars, like normal Hondas and 4-door cars that were also part of it. And then they all took off at the same time because I just got there when they were leaving. But it was just kind of, I was like, man, this is kind of, I was always wondering, like, how is it that they can catch them when they start to run? And like, it's a big, they have a big kind of setup already. They already know what they're doing in order to do it. My daughter had a dream that I never posted, but she was saying that in one of her dreams they went to a club, and they were going to start going into those type of events also. And that's what I heard too on the street. It was like I had a buddy call me up today, and he said in Houston that the clubs are also closed because they've done it. They've also gone into clubs. So I don't know if you remember, but I had before the Home Depot thing happened, I had that dream where the Home Depot, like I was in a dream and I was getting deported. I was on a bus and I was in the country. I was deported and one of my friends sold me out in the dream. It was weird. It was weird because it happened before the real thing happened. So that was November 22nd. All right, so November 26th, I had a dream where I was being spied on. Like I was on a date, I guess, in with somebody from Florida, Tallahassee. But anyways, we was like with a group of people. I wasn't on a date, but there was two people, two girls at a restaurant, and then there was two guys, and then I came, and then we were meeting each other, and then the scene changed, and we're at a library, and then the FBI agent came next to me and started to like harass me and he was telling me, when he was harassing me, everyone left and he just kind of was sitting there with me. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, he started to question me and he said, we have the text messages. And I said, I have nothing to hide. And I just started, I was getting frustrated. So we're not surprised too if they're tapping in, listening to the conversations. But that was another dream. You're gonna be spied upon. November 28th, I had a dream of some pickpocketers were stealing the lanyard from my daughter. So a lanyard is like a badge that gives you like entrance or access to a certain area. Well, she got it stolen, and I knew in that dream that like the devil is trying to steal our access to whatever God has in store for us. And he's trying to take these areas, take our inheritance, if we're meant to do something, we're called to do something. It's like many are called, few are chosen, because it's stolen. Like whatever you had waiting for you, the devil stole. And it's sad, man. I know friends that also have lost their calling because the devil got to them. So, let's see, I had a dream on December 12th regarding an infant was left in front of a television. And then the television started to attack the baby. It was like a little baby infant. So a demon came out of the TV and started to attack the baby. And I saw that and I picked up the baby right away and I rebuked the mom. I said, you can't be leaving this baby in front of the television. Unsupervised, I guess, because I think that's what most people do. They let their kids play with their tablet. They let their kids do whatever they want just to shut them up or to just have some peace, right? But you can't do that because you don't know what they're watching. It reminded me too, like one of my first encounters with my mom was that she fell asleep watching, I don't think she was watching the Addams Family, but when she woke up, that's what was playing. And she had like the hand. I don't know if you remember the hand in that movie where it would walk by itself. Well, she had the hand hold her in real life. So she was freaked out because of that. But that was, also it's kind of important just to make sure we watch our children, see what they're watching, and don't put them in front of all this witchcraft stuff. Okay, so we're down to our last couple of dreams. A lot of stuff happened. This is probably the most important one. So if you made it this far, congratulations. My daughter had a dream last night. One world order. Bro, this is crazy. She had a dream and she was pretty freaked out about it. I mean, she said, so she's on her bike in the country and she's coming towards the city. And in the sky, it said one world order, and it had a cross with a circle around it. And she was like, it's happening, it's starting. And she called me and in the dream, she said I was with my mom, and she said my mom's in the hospital, and so I was with her. My mom's old. Like, my mom is like, she's not doing too well, but she's like, I mean, she's okay, but I'm just saying that she's not like before. But in the dream, she said I was with her, and also that one of her friends texted her and said, wow, like something regarding 2026 is crazy, and said something about October. But that's not the important part. The important part is like it said one world order, and then on top of it, the scene changed, and she said she went into the mall and she was with her friends, and she noticed the sky was changing, and she knew it was the 3 days of darkness. And so she was like really freaking out. She was like, what do I do? Where do I go? And when she called me, I said, you know what to do. I've taught you this. You know where to go. And so she started to look for a place to stay. So she was also recruited like 7 kids, 7 of her friends that were also, she was trying to help. And these friends didn't know, but she's trying to teach them like, no, we got to find the house. We got to cover the windows. We got to where can we go? So they said, one of them suggested a place. I'm like, but is there witchcraft there? Is there anything bad? And they're like, yeah, it's these kind of bad. There may be something there. She's like, no, we can't risk it. I'm not going to go there. And someone else suggested a vehicle, like a car. So she said, well, we have no other choice. Let's just go. So they went to the car, and she was trying to teach them to cover the windows, and do it good, do it fast, hurry up. And the sky was like still like different colors, green, yellow, and orange or something like that. And as they were doing it, she said her friends, they weren't originally trying. They were just like, just doing it halfway. Then the friends started to say, oh my God, is that what you're talking about? Is that what and they started to fight. Like, now, like, my daughter couldn't see it. It's like, what are you fighting about? What are you fighting? So she just started to pray and rebuke, because she saw them swinging, but she didn't see it. And they were scared, because they saw what she was talking about. And then they started to cover the windows and pray. But that was her dream, and that was just yesterday. That was like, I think it was the 26th, yeah. And it could have been the 25th, because my dream was that made me prompt me to make all these videos was yesterday, and it was regarding telling these dreams. It's like, it's time for you to stop stealing from the Lord. Bro, I didn't realize I was stealing from the Lord. So we go into his house, me and another buddy of mine. He used to be good with the Lord, and he no longer is, but he wanted to break into this house. So like, it was empty. It was a new house. So I did, because I had access, I can get into the house. So the house was empty, but we thought it was empty. We go into the room, the bedroom, the office, and it's a guy who he reads the Bible, like an audio recorder. Like, his voice is so popular. I don't know his name, but he does even the Jehovah's Witnesses voice. That's how popular he is. And it was his house, and he had the Bible, the Jehovah's Witness Bible, big brown. And in his room, it was like a recording studio, and that was the office connected to the bedroom, right? And my buddy's just there being nosy, and I noticed that there was a camera. I'm like, bro, there's a camera here. We're being watched. We're caught, because it turned red. So we leave, and as I open the door, it's like a classroom of children just crossing you, like when the school bell rings and they're going from classroom to classroom. It was a bunch of like adolescents, like teenagers, just going, all in uniform, walking to their next classroom. And I'm like waiting for it to clear up so I can run out. But as we leave, the guy grabs us, and he's like, Katya. When he starts to speak, he speaks like the Bible, like what he's speaking. I'm like, bro, I know you, your voice. I know that voice. And then I can't remember what he was saying, but it was like he's like, I know, it was like, you guys are caught. And we was walking to the elevator. He was gonna like kick us out. So that dream told me that I was stealing from the Lord, because when God, he gives you something, he downloads something like audio. When you read the Bible, you hear it, or a dream, or whatever he gives you, however he speaks to you, you have to express it. You have to tell it. If you don't, it's like you're stealing, because it's a gift. It's a gift, right? I'm like, I got this gift. I got to share it. And the kids, there was kids. I had to share it to the kids. And what's interesting is that I share a lot of stuff with my daughter. Right? I share everything, like, and when I saw these kids in school, I'm like, man, it's just not my daughter, man. I gotta tell other kids. I gotta tell other people in general, whoever will listen. So it's just interesting how, like, I've been able to hear God speak, but I wasn't always able to hear it. I wasn't always able to discern it. And that's the cool part of it, is like, now I feel convicted when I don't. I feel like if I don't do it, I'm gonna get cursed. It's to that extent. And it's not that he will, but he knows me pretty well. Like, the Lord knows my situation. But at the same time, it's kind of like you have the will, the spirit is eager, but the flesh is weak. And for some reason, I fight it. Like, I'm like, not fighting it, but I know that there's a spiritual warfare. That these dreams, it sounds like, oh, Harvey, you're thinking too much into it. Like, no, these last ones, especially with my daughter telling me the one world order. Wow, how would she get? That's not a coincidence. That's like a warning to get your stuff, you get your act together. So since then, we're just kind of like, making it, kind of bunkering down a little bit better. We still do good. I mean, we're still trying our best to follow his rules. Like I said in the beginning, if you love me, you obey my commandments. Still trying to stay focused on him and try and stay out of Babylon, because Babylon is everywhere. If you were thinking about the Israelites and they were surrounded by the Moabites or the Ammonites or whatever, those people, it's kind of like today. You go outside and you're surrounded by Moabites. You're surrounded by Philistines. You're surrounded by Canaanites. That's what it is in this person that doesn't worship the living God. And even if they worship Jesus, but they do it falsely and they're doing it, they're still got their foot in Babylon here and there. That's still, it's still not obeying him, like his commandments, like how he wants us to, with his whole heart, with our whole heart, mind, and soul. It's not just, just love him a little bit or love him the way the world loves him. No, do it the way he wants to do it, and no compromising. That's the key. So anyways, I thank everybody for listening, whoever made it this far. But I've been praying for everyone. I pray for all the saints. I pray for my enemies. I'm praying for my family. Pray for everyone. So just so you know that you're in my prayers. And yeah, we're just gonna keep going. So, all right, guys. God bless. Till next time.